big believer in self-learning, obviously, because I've taught myself everything I know. I've not had a mentor. I've not had access to money to pay for these programs. I've either had to find them online or get other people to pay for them for me. But another reason I want to learn as much as possible is the compounding of knowledge, because the average CEO in the United States reads about 50 books a year, and they make 350 times more than the average worker does. Sundar, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google. I read this today. He is on track to make $380 million from, I believe it's stock options, this week from Google. He's one of those CEOs that reads a lot. So if $380 million doesn't catch your guys' attention, I don't know what is, but importance of reading and learning. And you don't have to like to read now. I hated reading when I was a kid. Like I said, I spent most of my middle school, high school age chasing girls, playing sports, and hanging out with friends. I didn't read. I hated reading. The only time I read was when we were forced to, like, for a book report. Back then it was called Accelerated Reader. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have that anymore. But I read almost constantly now. That's what I spend most of my time reading. I read financial statements of companies, public and private businesses, of apartment complexes that I'm looking to purchase, books about business, leadership, philosophy, science, and I truly believe that's part of why I am where I am today, and where I'm building towards is because of my ability to learn fast. So again, you don't have, and I sucked at reading too. I got hired by an investment newsletter, or writing. I sucked at writing, it was terrible. If you go back and look at my blog from before I got hired, it is awful. It looks like a third grader. But I got trained how to write well. Again, that's copywriting. Essentially, writing to learn how to persuade people to buy your services and products. That's another valuable skill set. Speaking in front of people, or just conversing with people on a normal level, that's a valuable skill set. Being on time, being trustworthy, returning phone calls. I don't know, you guys I'm sure lived here in Tri-Life, but I lived in South Dakota most of my kind of early adult life, and people up there return phone calls. It drives me insane. People don't return phone calls up here. It just, and in my real estate business, that you gain an advantage. You don't have to do anything special. A lot of this stuff is just common sense, showing up, returning phone calls, returning emails, returning texts, being a decent human being. That will literally get you 95% of where you need to go. The rest of it is up to you guys in terms of learning this other skill sets, leadership, copywriting, speaking. Again, those are pretty much the other things that are important. Do you guys have any other questions about that before we move on to the military? So, you're wearing Army lanyard. I grew up in the military family. My dad was in the Air Force for 22 years. He retired after 22 years and he traveled the world. And again, that's what I wanted to do. That's how I grew up. I grew up on military bases until I was in high school, I think. I was in 9th grade when we moved off to our military base for the first time. It's a fantastic option if you want to travel the world, if you want to get out of your shell, if you're a shy person. It's a very great option to help you learn self-confidence. It's a great option if you, again, want to travel the world. It's a great option if you want to pretty much get paid to go to college. My buddy right now, he's medically retired from the military. He's pretty much getting paid to go to college because he has the GI Bill. So he takes 4 or 5 classes, whatever it is, and he gets paid from his military retirement to go to college. And he's, I think, about to get his 2nd bachelor's degree. I think so. First or 2nd bachelor's degree. And it's been completely paid for by the military. If you need discipline, my dad went in the military because he needed discipline. He was pretty much a bad kid. He told us. He was in and out of trouble, got kicked out of houses, had a rough upbringing, and he needed the discipline. So he went in the military to get that. I can't speak on the traveling the world part because we never got to travel the world. My dad did. But he's been to Egypt. He's seen the Great Pyramids. He's been to Russia. He's been to South Korea, which he said was phenomenal. Where else was he? He was in the United Arab Emirates. He said all these places. And that's why I think another reason why I have such a different perspective than a lot of people. Not only because I didn't go to college the kind of normal route, but because I heard all these stories and had a different upbringing than a lot of people in the military family. I love it still. My dad said he's always glad that I wasn't able to get in because it changed so much, but a lot of older people say that it was better back in my day, type thing. So take it with a grain of salt, but I personally think it's a great option, especially if you want to do those kind of things I mentioned. Another one is technical schools. A lot of people look down on community colleges and technical schools. I don't know why, because they actually teach you real world skills. I have a buddy back home who he went to school, he went to a technical school to be an electrician. He immediately, upon graduating, was making 25 bucks an hour. More than my teacher friends, more than my nurse wife. It's a great option if you want to learn, if you're good with your hands. Electrician, plumber, all those kind of things. Those kind of jobs will not be automated away by robots or any kind of thing like that. So that's a great option as well. I don't have as much knowledge and experience about that, but just from the stuff he's told me, I mean, I think it was, this was years ago, so this might have changed, but he said he'd become a higher level electrician and he would get like $10 an hour raise upon getting, I think it was a journeyman or apprentice or one of the two. So if you're good with your hands and you don't think necessarily college is right for you, technical schools are a great option. Something that you're seeing more now, you didn't see a lot when I was in school, is people taking gap years, going to travel Europe, backpack around Europe, going to travel around Asia, Southeast Asia, South America. That's an option. I've seen super creative people do that actually. Chris Gilboa and I think Tim Ferriss. Have you guys heard of Tim Ferriss? 40-hour work week guy, huge podcaster, entrepreneur. I'm pretty sure he took a year off at one point he said to get his mind right and to figure out become more creative, figure out what he wanted to do in his life. Now he's one of the world's preeminent teachers and philosopher. I guess I would consider him a philosopher. Business philosopher, I guess would probably be a better term. There is, so we talked about college, talked about the military, technical schools, taking a gap year, getting a job after high school. There's no shame. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's no shame in any job. If you're providing for your family, if you have kids or younger siblings you have to provide for and you can't go to college, you physically can't, you don't have the time, there's no shame in that whatsoever. I don't care what anybody tells you. The janitor who cleans this building, as long as they are a prideful person and they show passion and they have a good work ethic, I bet you I've known janitors and other people who work with some of the happiest people in the world because they take care of their family, they do their job, they provide a service that gives value to other people, and there's no shame in that whatsoever. I always used to, I've always talked to everybody in high school, wherever I'm at. My wife actually makes fun of me. Even when I'm out fishing or doing something with the kids, people will just randomly come up and talk to me. So I learned a lot about people by talking to them. And in high school, we talked to a janitor, his name was Felix, and he was always happy. I never saw him once upset. Kids throwing up on the floor, kids being idiots, I never saw him without a smile on his face. There's no shame in doing whatever you can to provide for your family and provide other service for people. Not even a little bit. And then another thing is starting a business, which is where I'm at now. If that is one thing I would have changed, I would have started businesses faster. It's hard. It's insanely hard. There's been a ton of failure. Me and my brother combined have started probably around 10 businesses at this point. Most of them have been complete failures. We haven't made any money on them. 2 have been moderate successes, and now my ones now are starting to take off pretty well. I'm a big believer in failure as well. Failing fast is a term I like, because the quicker you fail, the more you learn. You learn more from the failure than you do from success. You learn what you can do differently, what you can do better, what skill sets you don't have that you need to learn. But starting a business is an option. There's grants out there from the Small Business Administration to start business, especially women, minorities. There's a ton of opportunities out there for people to start businesses, especially, I mean, they'll give you grants. Some of these places will literally, grants, do you guys know the difference between grants and loans? No? Yeah, okay. So you don't have to pay back the grants. You pretty much, they give you the money as long as you keep doing what you're doing, they're gonna pay you money. So there are grants out there for starting businesses, although I don't necessarily like them a lot, because they typically either, if there's some kind of loan from the government, the Small Business Administration, they definitely have an interest rate. Do you guys know what interest rates are? Yeah, interest you pay on debts, like a credit card, you have to pay extra money every month or whatever. And we'll talk about that hopefully in a next fall in a program, in a longer term program that Rebecca and I are hopefully putting together on financial literacy investing as well. But there are programs out there to help people. There are people out there. This is one thing that's great about the business community instead of the investment community. I didn't have a mentor in investment whatsoever. I've learned literally everything I've learned is on my own from books, YouTube, whatever. In business, entrepreneurs are typically very, very, very helpful people. If you ask them a question, they will either typically answer you right away or answer you when they can, or say, hey, if you want to come learn from me, you can come learn from me. Be an intern for a little bit. Learn from me. Walk side by side with me every day and see what I do every day to make money and grow the business. They are typically very, very helpful people. But I mean, those are pretty much all the options that I have. Going to college, military, taking a gap year, starting a business, getting a job, and technical schools. Those are pretty much all the options that I can think of where you can earn a living from for either yourself or your family, or to take vacations, whatever you want to do with your money. Start businesses, whatever. But do you guys have any questions about anything?
What kind of business did you try?
What was that?
What kind of business did y'all try to
Me and my brother, we tried to open up a computer, kind of a computer servicing business. That failed. We've opened, what else have we opened? We've opened up so far a marketing agency, which we haven't done anything with. We're going to at some point as we get more knowledge and I grow out my team. Right now, our businesses that I'm running right now is my value investment coaching and teaching programs. I've built an entire course on that. Brand new content from my knowledge, my experience. I sell that to people. I sell training videos to people, going step by step, line by line through company financial statements, which you said you wanted an accountant. You better really like it, I'm telling you right now, because it can be really boring. But I love it, so it's just kind of my mindset, how I built. I'm more of a numbers person. What else? We started other businesses that have failed, but I can't, they were so long ago. We've wasted literally thousands of dollars and years of time on our other failing businesses to get to kind of where the point where I'm at now, where my business are actually making money. I've been able to bring on a team. I consult with people now. I value and evaluate people's businesses for them. I do, again, I'm an author, I've written a book. So there's, if you have, and this is, I'm glad you asked it because I wanted to talk about this, is if you have skills like writing, copywriting, speaking, the ability to learn fast, these kind of things, they won't be automated away by robots and automation, but B, if you have these skills, you will be highly sought after people. It might take some time to get there, but you will be highly sought after because because most people don't like to speak, they don't like to write, and they don't want to take the time to learn valuable skills. Why? Because it's hard. It's hard work learning a skill. It's a lot of frustration, a lot of failure, but the faster you fail, the quicker you get to where you want to go. That's why, especially at your guys' age, if I could go back, and one thing I would change, if I had the knowledge I have now, I would literally be 14 years ahead of where I am now. If you can learn valuable skill sets fast and become valuable to people in a real world sense, I'm not saying selling them your products or selling them your services or trying to rip them off. I'm saying providing them true value, helping them out, giving them 51% of the deal and you take 49% of the deal. If you can do that, you will always be valuable. You will always be able to find jobs. You'll always be able to find work. You'll always be able to make money. And now, especially at your age, you can do it from wherever you want. You don't have, as long as you have a computer and Wi-Fi and internet access, you can work from anywhere in the world you want. I've seen people who have businesses that are fully automated and they just literally travel the world off the money they make. They make enough money every month to cover their expenses and they use the rest of the money to travel the world. You guys literally have infinite options at your hands at your age, especially. What is it, 16, 17, 18, most of you guys? Yeah. You have infinite possibilities. Again, I work from home most days. I don't wear this stuff most days unless I'm doing a real estate deal. I wear shorts and a shirt and I work from my computer and hang out with my daughters most days. I can go fishing whenever I want. Typically, unless I have something scheduled, I can go take the girls to the beach whenever I want. And again, it's taken a long time to get here. But that's why I want to tell you all the options, and so you're cognizant of all the options as well, because you will most likely need a backup plan. That's all. I'm not saying your leg muscles will rip off, or you'll have a seizure, or you'll get massive business issues. But at some point, your life and your plans will be derailed, and you will have to have a backup plan. You will need to be resilient. And I tell my 13-year-old niece this all the time. She always complains, life isn't fair. Life is not fair. I want to be that person to tell you that. If people tell you life is fair, you need to run as far as possible away from them as you can. Life is not fair, especially after high school. If you get a job or you go to college and then you go to college and get a real job, life is not fair. You will get yelled at from people that when you did nothing right. If you were resilient, and again, it's hard, especially at your guys' age. If you're anything like me, I was very arrogant. Looking back at it, I thought I was indestructible. And you need to have backup plans. You need to think about, I'm not necessarily saying to figure out what you're going to do for the long term, but every day you need to kind of get better. And if you do that over the long term, you're going to be very successful. So, you guys have any questions about anything? For my small business? This year we're on track to do over $100,000 in revenue. In profit, which is the real important number. Revenue is just typical sales, what you get. Profit is what you can bring home. After paying my team, taxes, all that kind of stuff, I'll make probably around $50,000. Next year, again, if we continue growing like we're growing, next year we should be over $1 million, which again, I'll probably make about half of that unless we bring on more team members. So. In my line of work, finance and investment, typical profit margins I look for are over 10%. So if you're doing 25, 50% a year, you're going to make a lot of money over time. Anything else, guys? You got a question?
Yes.
Go ahead. No question? Nothing else? All right.
Issues.
Huh?
What are the past logistical issues?
I can't hear you.
You said you had some past issues, something like that?
What part? Past issues?
No. What is it? What is it? The dizziness.
Oh, the dizziness?
Oh, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Past dizziness.
Yeah, extreme dizziness to the point where literally, again, I couldn't do anything. When I was at my worst years ago, I could do nothing but lay around and watch TV for 30 minutes at a time. I couldn't read, I couldn't play video games, I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't do anything. They still to this day haven't figured out what's wrong with me. They've just kind of got it under control. They think it's related to one of three things. They think it's related to concussions I had from playing football. I had 7 or 8 minor concussions that I can remember. So they think it's either related to that. They think it's related to I got sick and the virus got in my inner ear and destroyed the balance center in there. Or they think it's related to my concussions, which are causing early onset MS. They don't know still, but it's under the control at this point. I can play with my daughters a little bit. I can do, for the most part, as long as I'm not moving around a lot. We're in a big group of people, like going to Walmart or the mall or something, I just feel awful. But as long as that, it's pretty much under control now. So, anything, guys? I'm an open book, seriously. I've made a lot of mistakes. I would like to prevent you guys from making as many mistakes as I've made. So if you have any questions, let me know.
If you were in high school right now, like what kind of business would you do?
If I was in high school right now, that's a fantastic question. I would learn marketing. Now that I've learned marketing, I would learn marketing. Because if you know how to market something, have you guys ever heard of Russell Brunson? He's a big time internet marketer. He started the company ClickFunnels, and his company, he took it from 0 to, I think, $300 million in like 3 or 4 years, which is insane. That never happens. But having learned a lot of marketing now, if you know how to market things and sell them to people, you can make pretty much as much money as you want. Because he calls it becoming a rainmaker. If you know how to get people to buy stuff in an ethical way, if you know how to get people to buy stuff in an ethical way, products you truly believe in, you can make as much money as you want. So I would say marketing and sales is what I would get into. Some business related to that. I'll get great at both of those. You got a question?
Yes. What does your book mainly focus on?
Teaching people how to become great value investors. How to evaluate businesses step by step, how to value them. Because a lot of people, and this is something I'm going to talk about in the other program if we end up doing that, is that because I wasn't able to go to college, because I didn't have a mentor who knew this kind of stuff, because I didn't have a lot of money to spend on a mentor, I had to learn literally everything myself. And people always tell you, literally every value investing or finance book will tell you, you need to learn how to value businesses, but 0 of them show you how to actually do it. They do that for several reasons. A, because a lot of people don't want to waste their time talking to people who don't want to learn that skill. They just say they do, but they don't actually want to put in the time to learn it. B, a lot of these people, or not a lot, some of them want to keep all the knowledge to themselves. They don't want to help other people kind of get up to their level by teaching them valuable skills, because they think people will take all the money and take all the opportunity will go away. I'm a big believer in the abundance. It's called the abundance mindset. I think there's enough money to go around in the entire world for everybody to be wealthy if they really wanted to be, and have the skill sets and the opportunity to become wealthy and learn those skill sets. Again, I believe anybody can do anything they want to do if they put enough time to do it. So that's mainly what I teach. I teach value investing terms, finance terms. I teach people step by step, actually real world case studies. I tell them the mistakes I made on the analysis, and then I go over them. And that's what my courses are about too, and my programs are about. And my coaching program is to help people. Again, like I just said to you guys, I want to help as many people as I possibly can in the world. And part of that starts with helping people avoid mistakes. Because there's a difference between failures and mistakes. Mistakes usually cost you money, time, loved ones, whatever it is. Failures, you can't really learn too much from mistakes most of the time, in my opinion. Failures you can learn from. Mistakes are things that can cause you huge trouble. Failure is me getting fired from that job in Delray. I call it a failure of my own. Even though I don't know, I still to this day don't know what I did, but I took personal responsibility that I should have been doing better. Even though I don't know what I could have been doing better, I should have been doing better on my part. There's another saying I believe in, it's extreme ownership. I own everything in my arena that I can control. Even if, like, for example, one of the examples in the book, Extreme Ownership, no, this was a Grant Cardone book. he said, if you get into a car wreck, if you get rear-ended, it is your fault. Because he wants to be in control of the situation. He doesn't want to let emotions and other people take control of his life. And he said, because it's your fault, because you could have left 5 minutes earlier, you could have left 5 minutes later, you could have been driving faster, you could have been driving slower. So, and I'm a big believer in that too, again, probably because of how I was raised, but I think also it's a lot because I didn't have control for, again, 42, 45% of my life, or whatever it is. So I want as much control as I can have over things now. So even when it's, again, getting fired from a job when you're being told you're doing a great job. Because, again, life's not fair. So, any other questions, guys? Nothing? All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope this was of some value. Hope you learned some stuff. So I think that's about it. There's resources over there for you guys on college, including the free college for in-state Florida tuition, and how to find